Why is everybody talking about Performance Max campaigns in Google in 2023? And how soon should you shift all of your money towards it? So I get this question a bunch. We're getting this question from our consulting side of business, and we're getting this question from our direct clients in the real estate industry. And I'm going to cover this and try to be very clear and concise in this. So another big thing is we should probably do a timestamp on this. We are sitting in the beginning of the second quarter in 2023, and there's a lot of people moving towards the usage of Performance Max. And Performance Max is Google's latest, greatest thing, their newest solution, what they're going to tell you to do at all times. They're going to push that. You're going to talk to a Google ad rep and they're going to ask you, why haven't you turned on Performance Max? It's the best. And honestly, there's a really good reason why we wouldn't use it right now. There's a really great reason why you wouldn't want to use it in the near future. And let's go over that. So the top 3 reasons I wouldn't use Performance Max is pretty clear and concise on why none of our clients use it. I'll preface that we've tested it. So as always, when you're talking to me and you're talking about campaigns, I'm going to tell you it depends. It depends on what your environment is. It depends on what your resources are. It depends on what your budget is. It depends on what your assets are, right? So 99.9% of our clients have a limited budget. We have like one client that says it doesn't matter, just spend whatever you can. But they don't really mean that, right? They don't really mean that. But when we're talking about Performance Max is taking all of your traffic and trying to itemize it out themselves. So let's go with the number 1 reason I don't use Performance Max for real estate lead generation. And that number 1 is control. We have almost no control. And I say almost because they're starting to give a little bit more and a little bit more, a little bit more, but you don't have control on how much of your traffic is going to show on mobile compared to desktop. You don't have control on how much of your traffic or impressions are going to show on display ads instead of YouTube. You don't have that control on where search campaigns and all that stuff. So you are essentially taking your Performance Max is taking all of the stuff that we do, and instead of having them separated out with their itemized budgets and with a broad brush decides, okay, let's say you've got $5,000 a month to spend, and we might be spending $3,000 in Google search, we might be spending $1,000 in YouTube and $1,000 in display. You give Google the keys to your car and you tell them, go do what you want to do. You might end up spending $3,000 in display ads, and you might spend $1,000 in search and $1,000 in YouTube. And Google's going to come back and say, last month was awesome. And congratulations on a great month. Well, because you spent your entire budget, not because you got a good quality lead, not because you got a good return on branding, just congratulations, you spent that money and we spent it wherever we wanted to spend it. And guess where they spent it? They spent it where people like me don't spend it. They spent it where they were given carte blanche to spend it. They're not looking out for the best interest of you. And again, at this point in the game with Performance Max, not being able to control much of anything, and again, they're starting to release a little bit more control. You're basically telling Google, you know best what my business needs. You know best on what my goals are. Please go wild and run this for me. So that's 1. Number 1 is zero control on what platforms you're spending money on. Number 2, my clients don't have some of those assets. My clients don't have YouTube videos. They don't have recordings of videos. They don't have display ads that they have any desire to run. Our clients might be in the phase where they just want to spend money on search and they just want to add to their lead count. They might be trying to drive traffic to generate leads, and the branding play of display ads and the informative side and the professionalism of YouTube just isn't in their peripheral right now. It's not something that they're focused on and looking at. It might be something a couple quarters down. Performance Max doesn't really give you that option. It says, give me all your assets, and if you don't have those assets, you know what, give me your logo. We'll create those assets for you on the fly. And again, we know best. Well, if Google's ever proved anything to us, they might know best, but they don't do best. So they're spending that money where, again, we do not want it. Number 3 on why I wouldn't spend my money or run a Performance Max is control. You have limited control on what you can and can't do. You have limited control on, where, when, how, what, and why. And the big thing for me is if you're a solo agent and you're trying to get some money out there and you run Performance Max, I can accept that. That's fine. It's the easy, it's the easy button you click. It's the way to get it going. It's that money you spent. But honestly, if you're spending money with a professional like myself or some other of my peers in the industry, or maybe you're working with a large national firm that does PPC management, and you come to find out that they took all of your money, all of your assets and resources, and sat down and did a consult with you and said, we're going to do our best to put the best foot forward, and we're going to be professionals, and we're going to run these campaigns and make sure you're super successful. And you find out they're just running Performance Max campaigns, they're just taking your money and not doing a dang thing. Anybody could stand up a company and just run all Performance Max campaigns because it's a set it and forget it. It is a, let's just turn this thing on, let Google take the wheel, and I guarantee you Google's going to get us to the finish line. And their finish line is no different than Google's finish line, which is in your pocket, in your wallet, taking your money and not caring if anything good comes from it. They don't. So it's hard to audit. It really, there's no great way to manage it. And again, when we're talking about this, we're talking about Q2 2023, the tools that we've gotten for it and the testing that we've ran on it just hasn't been something that we were really excited about. There's some false positives to it. They're going to tell you a lot of things are happening when you really can't, when you go to look and try to find that out. If you see if there's real phone calls, if you see there's really people coming to your location, it's not proven to be true for us. We've tested it on a few accounts. We do these testings with clients that are good with us testing, saying, hey, let's try this new thing. I've heard so-and-so's doing really well with it. Well, so far, not good. So when people are talking about Performance Max campaigns, talking about the latest, greatest thing with Google, it might be great for e-commerce. It might be great for some other solutions. But when we're talking down and dirty lead generation, the more control you have, the better you manage that, and the better you kind of budget your stuff accordingly. I think your results are still going to be better as a professional, if you're a professional or if you're paying a professional, is to stay in those separate buckets, itemize out your search, your display, and your YouTube. It gives you more control on everything, on where it's showing, when it's showing, what devices it's showing on, what they can see and what they can't see, where you're sending them. All that stuff is extremely important on the balance, which is it's like walking a tightrope, and that balance is important when it comes to running campaigns for lead generation, and especially in the real estate world. Right now, we give a thumbs down to Performance Max. That doesn't mean that Google's not going to improve on it. That doesn't mean that Google's not going to force their hand and say you have to start running this. Right now, we're just saying it's not a great tool for what we use it for. We'll see. It's to be determined if by the end of 2023 they make some more adjustments, they open some more stuff up, allow us to negate out things, allow us to bring things out and take things back. We'll see where that goes. But at this moment, I would highly advise anybody that's talking to us, we tell them, let's not run Performance Max. If you're doing it yourself, you're paying a fee. You're paying a toll to go across that bridge. And that fee might be much more than what it would cost to have a professional run it. If you are using a professional, have that conversation. Ask them what they're doing and why they're doing Performance Max if they are. Compare those leads that you're getting. If they've been running it for the last few months, compare to leads you got before that. If they were doing straight search leads, search lead generation, you're probably going to see a difference. So keep that in mind. Test everything. Test often. Again, like I'm saying right now, to be determined on whether Performance Max is something that we use at Driven Leads. Right now, it's not. Right now, I will tell you it's not something that I want to deal with. If you've got any insight on your side, or if you think I'm completely crazy, or if you just have some more questions of wanting to see examples of why we feel this way, don't second guess it. Ask a question in the comments, click like and subscribe. And if you have anything else you want me to cover, by all means, we're always here to answer questions and see if we can't squash a couple of myths and help people save their money and use it wisely. So have a great day, and we'll see you soon.